Why are you so afraid to be alone? Not just physically alone, but stripped of distraction, applause, affirmation, cut off from the noise that keeps you from meeting the one person you've been running from your entire life, yourself. You claim to want clarity, wisdom, peace, yet you flinch at the very conditions that give birth to them. Solitude is not isolation, it is confrontation. It is the moment when the masks fall, the performance ends, and the mind can no longer outsource its discomfort. And that terrifies you, doesn't it? Because without the crutch of conversation, without the echo of external validation, you're forced to face the raw, unfiltered state of your soul. Marcus Aurelius ruled the most powerful empire in the world, yet his real empire was internal. He wrote not for fame, but for survival, scribbling his meditations in solitude, not to impress others, but to examine the battlefield of his mind. Can you do the same? Can you sit with yourself long enough to see what you're made of? Or will you continue to fill the void with noise, hoping that if you scroll fast enough, binge long enough, drink deep enough, the silence won't catch you? Solitude is the anvil of character. It is where the Stoic sharpens discernment, hones discipline, and tempers the will. In solitude, Epictetus found freedom in slavery, teaching that no man is truly free who is not master of himself. But how can you master yourself if you've never even spent time in your own company? We are so trained to chase connection, to believe that value lies in constant interaction, yet we forget that every conversation, every relationship, draws its power from the quality of the self that enters it. A fragmented soul cannot offer wholeness. A distracted mind cannot offer depth. Solitude is not a retreat from life, it is preparation for it. It is where you audit your beliefs, measure your intentions, confront your hypocrisies. It is where you stop lying to yourself, because there's no audience left to fool. Seneca reminds us that the soul needs to retire into itself to grow strong. Like a tree that sends its roots deeper during drought, you must go inward when life feels dry, uncertain, silent. This is not an act of weakness, but of radical strength. Because solitude doesn't flatter you, it doesn't clap for you, it doesn't console you with empty praise. It reflects, it reveals, it refines. In solitude, you discover how loud your inner critic is, how shallow your convictions are when not performed for others. You see your neediness, your ego, your fears, and you begin the slow, painful process of making peace with them. There is no shortcut through this, no hack, no filter. Just you, the silence, and the mirror. The modern world hates solitude. It calls it loneliness, stigmatizes it, medicates it. But the Stoic sees it differently. Solitude is the training ground of sovereignty. It is the forge of resilience. You do not become unshakable by clinging to others. You become unshakable by realizing you never needed them to be whole in the first place. This is not a rejection of love, of community, of bonds. It is the strengthening of the self. So those bonds are not formed from desperation, but from abundance. The Stoic walks into solitude not to escape others, but to prepare for them. He returns not diminished, but clarified. The mind that has walked through the valley of silence sees life with new eyes. It no longer fears stillness, because it has learned that stillness is not the absence of meaning, it is the source of it. And in that space, you hear the voice you've buried under years of distraction. A voice not of fear, but of wisdom, not of weakness, but of strength, the voice of your inner citadel. So, stop running, lock the door, turn off the noise, sit down. Let the silence stretch until it becomes unbearable, then let it stretch further. Observe the thoughts that rise, watch the illusions that crumble. And when the panic surfaces, when the false self screams for escape, stay. This is the crucible. This is where you build the muscles the world cannot see. The strength to say no when yes would betray your values. The courage to act rightly, not reactively. The clarity to distinguish desire from need. The patience to wait, and the will to endure. Solitude is not punishment, it is privilege. It is how the Stoic becomes dangerous, not with noise, but with depth, not with bravado, but with stillness. The man who has mastered solitude has already conquered half the battle of life, because no chaos outside can match the chaos he has already faced within. You want to grow, then go where no one is watching. Speak when no one is listening. Live as though your conscience is the only witness that matters. That is how you build unshakable character. That is how you stop pretending and start becoming. So the next time you feel the ache of being alone, remember, it's not a void, it's an invitation. Will you accept it? Or will you keep running, hoping the world can fill what only you can face? The Stoics are not asking you to isolate, they are daring you to meet yourself. And once you do, you'll realize you were never truly alone. You just hadn't come home to yourself yet.